Hi guys, so I've been doing some Sunday night random bidding.
The gearbox is back in. Um, I'd like to say it all went super smoothly, but it didn't because I'm a plum and dropped the bolt for the flywheel sensor into the bell housing. Right, so the £200 Corsa's turned up. Lee, let's tap you up. Let's get some money out your pocket. Got this super clean E39 BMW next door. I think it's the E39, isn't it? This one. It's only the 2.3, but it is mega clean. You don't see them this clean very often anymore. Immaculate beige leather interior. Really cool car that. I'd say it's only the 2.3, but still really nice to see. They just came over and told me actually that apparently a young lad picked this up for a grand. So I think he got a great buy there. I know they're not worth a lot, but I think he got a great buy. It's in for some squeaking suspension on the rear, which is dried out bushes from low mileage. But yeah, really nice little car. Well, not so little, but really nice car. I'd much rather drive this than anything you gave me the keys to new. Much rather bomb around this. Well, not anything I guess new, but most things you gave me new. I mean, this is, I've just been up Peugeot to pick up some parts, and this has cost him less than a deposit on the latest 107. Just had to share this quickly with you guys. I'm looking at what's on Auto Trader, what's on BCA car auction tomorrow Monday at Bridgewater. This Chrysler Crossfire is on there, 2004. The state of this thing, God knows what they've stuck on the bonnet there. And they put red trim all over it, tiny little spotlights on the front, and those wheels. Someone needs to save that car really badly. It's not going to be me though.
Hi guys, so I've been doing some Sunday night random bidding. I'm going to say as a disclaimer here, all of the bidding I've done here is stupid, and none of you should follow it at all. So just get a disclaimer out of the way because it goes against all the rules I've told you in any of the previous videos. I really don't know what's happening in the market. It's quiet at the moment. I'm talking to other dealers and they're telling me they're having to reduce their prices all the time to keep up with the price reductions they're seeing on Auto Trader. So when Auto Trader gives the current value for a fair deal, a great deal, they change based on how dealers across the country are pricing their stock, and everybody seems to be reducing the price of stock at the moment. So the market's a bit mad. So I'm thinking that basically anything I get at the moment should be the cheapy end of the market. That's still quite buoyant. By that I mean even sub £2,000 type of thing. So I put some proper random little bids in. I can't show you any detail on these cars because they're all in as proxy bids on BCA, and for some reason whoever does the websites for BCA needs a bit of a slap because the online doesn't talk to the normal platform, so you can't actually click in. These bids don't appear on the normal page, so I can't click in and show you any details on it. So anyway, I'll tell you what I remember about them. So a Chevrolet Tacoma, never seen one of these before in my life, 1.6 XS. All I spotted was it was a small MPV with an automatic gearbox, and its mileage wasn't crazy, and it had long MOT on it. Its book price was about £400. I've just put £100 bid on it just for, to be honest, shits and giggles. All of these cars I'm going to need to drive up with someone and pick them up because it's not going to be worth paying delivery on them. So yeah, so never seen one before, got no idea what they're about, but I know that if I've got an automatic small MPV that I can do under £2,000, then it's probably going to sell, or around 1,500 to £2,000. So thought I'd have a cheeky bid on it. The only one that's half sensible, Toyota Aygo 1 litre VVTi on a 58 plate. I think the mileage was good on this as well. I've kept well out of the 100k range after the trouble I'm having with my Yaris's. These always sell really well. The only thing I think with this one is it didn't have a mechanical report, and we know that they can have problems with the valve stem seals, and gearboxes. First gear can be a bugger, so bit of a gamble on that one. Bid £700, which is one of the stronger prices I've bid in amongst these cars. Then an Alfa Romeo came up, so we all know that if there's Alfas out there, I'm probably going to have a bid on them. This is the 1.4 TB 155 Veloce. Now, I can't remember or not. I think this might be the multi-air unit, which, again, there was no mechanical report. And the multi-air units on these, if they go, they're about £1,000, I think they are. I can't remember whether this is the multi-air unit or the old turbo unit, which is more reliable. But I've done all right with sporty little Mitos before, so I had a cheeky bid of £500 on it because, again, no mechanical report. It's a risk. I could end up dropping £1,000 into it. I bid on a Mini Cooper on an 07 plate, and you're probably all shouting at the screen going, no, the clutches are a nightmare, everything to fix on those is a nightmare. They are. I took one in part exchange a while back. I don't think I ever recorded it. I took one in part exchange for about 200, 300 quid in part exchange, and I have to say, although I'm a big Alfa Fiat nut, Mini Coopers like this, even though not massively powerful, I was so impressed with how much fun it was, and I know they do sell. So I had a cheeky bid on it, probably as much for myself as anything, just put 500 quid down on it. Little cheeky Fiat bid. I think this one, again, didn't have a mechanical report on it, so I've been very cautious on that and only put a couple hundred quid in it because I've never found a Punto sells for anywhere near what book says it does. They have to be very cheap to shift. So low bid on that. I've bid on another Mio. I didn't even know I had done that, really. I told you, don't follow my bidding today. It's random. 1.4 16 valve Lusso, super. I have done a few of these. These are really easy. There's loads of room in the engine bay, really easy to work on. The 1.4 is just a bigger unit of the 1.2 out of the Fiat 500s. They tend to be problem free as a general rule, but it's 2009 Mito. It could need a whole front subframe. They rot out. Could need a rear beam. Don't know. So I've only bid £500 on that. The next one, a C3 Picasso, is because my wife keeps seeing them out and about everywhere. She says she sees loads of people out in them, so they must be good sellers. So I thought, well, again, I'll have a cheeky bid on one. It's a 2009 1.4 VTR. I've only bid £500 on that. I can't remember now. Was there a clutch? Did I see a mechanical report on that? The clutch was slipping or something? I don't even know how hard a clutch is to do on one of those, but I put a cheeky £500 on it. Being in Devon, anytime I see a VW Transporter, I bid on them because as soon as you cross over into Devon, and you're from up country, you seem to have the need to buy a Transporter right away, regardless of what your job is and what you're planning on doing. You need to drive a Transporter. You need to stick surf balls on the roof, and stick a Croyd sticker in the rear window, and go out in your Transporter. You all do it when you come down, God knows why, and you pay astronomical prices for them as well. So a £5,000 bid on a 58 plate. With mileage, I think the mileage is only about 70,000. You see them with huge mileage on as well, so I don't expect to get anywhere near that. It's just a cheeky little bid. Another C3 Picasso. It just looked good in black. This one I bid stronger on because this had a brand new MOT on it and a mechanical report, I think. 2010. I bid 1900. Should I bid that on it? I think I checked the prices on it. I think there's some money to be made on it at that kind of price, but looking at it again now, I'm not sure I should have done really. Definitely, I don't think I'd want to be marketed that over £3,000. I don't know. I can't remember what they're worth. Another proper random one. Was this the automatic? Or was the other one automatic? A Hyundai Matrix 1.6 Comfort. I mean, we know Hyundai's is a general or reliable cars. It's a 2010. It had really. Oh, I think I bid on this because it had low miles. 500 quid I've stuck in. Know nothing about them. Again, I'm just thinking the very cheapy end. I need a car because mine's broken down market. It's probably still buoyant at the moment. This one here, proper random one again, Chevy Matiz. This I bid on, I think, because it's only got 20,000 miles on it. I've only bid £100 on it. I think it's pretty worthless. I think it's a 995 car, to be honest. I just thought it'd be quite funny for the channel if I did win it, to be honest. So I just put a throwaway bid on it. Remember, with your fees on top, all of these, even a £100 car is going to have £100 of fees, and you're going to go and get the thing. So you'll be into it for 250, 300. I bid on this one, Suzuki Jimny, just because I see my mate over on Flipping Cars for Profit. He's a sort of Southwest guy as well. He always does well on these, and I'm surprised the amount of money they go for. This one had a new MOT, but it had a dented up front bumper. So I was hoping I might steal it away at 1,100 quid, because I do see them go for good money. So I had a cheeky bid on that, hoping that the damage will put off a lot of those dealers that really can't be bothered to do that kind of thing. It looks plastic to me, so I don't know how hard they are to get off, but I know with the heat gun, if I get in behind it with a heat gun and I'm gentle, I might not even break the paint and be able to get the bumper out a bit, but if needs be, I'll get the old rattle cans out again, won't I? And I had another bid on a Mini Cooper, 1.6 Mini Cooper, 2004, 300 quid. I don't know why I bid that on it. I think I took the last one in at part exchange of that kind of money. Again, I just bid on it because they're fun. They're fun. I'm figuring on either of them, if I have to spend, if I have to spend a load of money putting a clutch in, putting money in a clutch in it, I should still come out of it all right. So logic behind these bids, not really an awful lot, other than I think from my experience so far this month, the really cheap stuff's the stuff that's selling, because there's always a market for it. Someone always needs a cheap car if theirs is broken down. You don't necessarily need a $5,000 or even a $3,000 car at the moment if you don't absolutely need a car. But the cheapy stuff always sells well. I've just got to be careful how much work I do to them and how much warranty I give on them. So I shall update you shortly on my wins, which I think is going to be a big fat zero. I think the only things I've got any likelihood of winning is maybe, if there's any private buyers there, they're going to buy anything. They're going to spend 500 quid on anything. So I don't think any of these £100 bids are going to go in. I go possibly the Mito. I think the ones that have got mechanical problems. I forget which other one had like a slipping clutch on it. Any ones with the mechanical stuff or damage, there's a likelihood. There's a small likelihood I might win it. Other dealers tend to stay away from Mitos, but I think they'll probably pay a bit more than me on those cars. So that's their throwaway bids. I have put a couple of bids in on Mannheim as well. I don't think I put any on Copart. I looked and there was nothing there, or salvage market. There was nothing interesting me at all. I wanted to buy stuff that I didn't need to do any real work to, just sell it with a little bit of damage they already had on them. So that's one I do quite. Maybe I should do a video about that for you guys. Comment down below if you're interested to see a video on when I buy stuff from the crash damage stuff that I don't intend on doing repairs on, and which ones I pick. Smaller profits, you make like 300 quid out of them, say, but you just wash them and sell them straight on and don't even do the repairs to them. So obviously check them over, wash them and sell them on without doing repairs on it. So if you've got any interest in that, put a comment down below. So I'll come back to you shortly on what's happening now. By the way, guys, look at my stats. 65% of you aren't subscribed. So if you are finding this stuff of interest, do me a big favour, hit that subscribe button right now for me, please. Hit that little bell button down the bottom, subscribe to the channel. Help me an awful lot, do bigger and better things going forwards. Anyway, I'll come back to you shortly and let you know how we got on with this.
So Mgb Engine Bay, if you remember from the earlier video, I rattle can painted this, but then put a plastic sheet over it between coats because somebody else was doing some work around me that was dirty. And I ended up with bits in my paint. And I said, you've got to leave it at this point, wait for it to go off and then flat it back. Well, that's exactly what I did, flat it back. I've given it another coat. You'll see there's stuff on it at the moment. That's again from the plastic sheet, but it was dry before I put it over this time, so it hasn't stuck to it this time. So it's all looking really nice and glossy. This is the tartan red, and it just needs a flat back now. But what my next plan is to get the engine back in the engine bay. But yeah, for rattle can job, don't think bad, guys. A lot smarter. Small amount of progress forward with it. So yeah, get the engine back in, build it up so it's a running, driving chassis, and then I can get back onto the bodywork side of things again. Sorry for the light at this end of the room. So today I've mainly been taking the gearbox out the 106 Rally because I had quite a noise on the clutch release bearing, but I discovered something more concerning. That is a flywheel bolt. Get it in focus for you. And that is seriously worn, and that's because someone put the old clutch in the wrong way round. How the car was driving as well as it did with the clutch the wrong way around, I do not know. The clutch isn't massively worn. I've got my new one here, but yeah, all the flywheel bolts really chewed up and skimmed down. So I'm hoping this is also the reason that I was getting, when I came off the clutch quickly, why I was getting quite a, a bit of a jerk and noise. I would imagine so, because it's metal on metal. Basically what was happening was, this is the gearbox side of the clutch, but they had it that way round. So you had all this metal here, excuse me for 1 second, wearing up against the flywheel bolts like that. So someone was half asleep when they put that together. So yeah, I'm hoping this is going to improve the drivability considerably of the Rally. So of course, good practice while we got the gearbox out and we've taken the flywheel off. put a new main seal in so that we're going to get no leaks between the engine and the gearbox. Future-proofing everything as we go along, do new drive shaft seals, cleaned up the flywheel before we put it back on, had a very light skim on that. So it's going on with the new bolts I picked up from Persia today. Big shout out to Truscott's here in Barnstable. Where's my bag of bolts? Who got me? I phoned them up at 4:30 last night, and they got me flywheel bolts this morning for a car this old, and they did it by getting the Launceston branch to have someone drive them up to the Barnstable branch for me. So big shout out to Truscott's Peugeot for that one. Thank you very much. It means I can be back in this. Got a car show on Sunday, hoping to go to in the rally, so let's get cracking. So our new Borg and Beck clutch is all lined up, ready to go on. So we'll get all that tightened down and we look to get the box back on. The gearbox is back in. I'd like to say it all went super smoothly, but it didn't because I'm a plum and dropped the bolt for the flywheel sensor into the bell housing and nearly necessitated it all being taken out again. But luckily with the magnetic stick I could see the bolt in the bell housing. It was still sitting towards the top and managed to retrieve it, so very grateful for that. I gave the gearbox a good clean off before it went back in again. Just clean the gunge off of that. I'm doing the same on the engine now. We had a slight oil leak before, so I'm just cleaning that up as well. And yeah, should be good to go then. We'll see what the difference driving the car is now that we know that we had a clutch on the wrong way around in it. It'll be very interesting to see how she drives. Sorry, I think I've got some grease on the lens, by the way. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she drives compared to before. I certainly will have less transmission noise, that's for sure. But we had a little bit of lurching when taking off, so I think that was probably the clutch as well. But I don't want to hope that it's going to solve everything. But be interesting to see. But off home now. Tomorrow, bring her down, torque the hub nuts up. What else do I need to do? I'm hoping I've got new linkages coming for the gearbox coming tomorrow. Replace the linkages on the back of the gearbox for the gear lever, because obviously one kept popping off. I've got a set of 3 now. You can see in the diff there. Yeah, so I've got a set of 3 bars coming, so that they're all going to be brand new on that. And yeah, so that should improve the gear change, and that clutch should improve things greatly as well. And hopefully I'll have it all done for the little car show on Saturday.
So this is a nice one to come into this morning, guys. I don't know if you remember, I had a little red Corsa SXI come in, and it got to the end of its warranty, well, just within a day or so, the end of its warranty, and it started making a bit of a strange noise occasionally, which I thought was just a bit of a sticky alternator. But I test drove it, couldn't replicate the noise, but extended the warranty out on that part just in case it went wrong later on. Well, that lady, unfortunately, has hit the car and had a write-off. She messaged me, asked me to price up doing the parts for her rather than going through the insurance company, but it just didn't stack up financially at all. So I did run through with her. I went on eBay, checked out the price of the parts, so I sent her an email, gave her a breakdown so she knew where it came, where I was coming from. And yeah, got a nice email. Evening, James. Appreciate what you've done here. Thank you so much. Looks like you have the job of finding me a new car. I'll be in touch. Keep up the amazing work you do in the A-star service. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, that means a lot to me to get an email like that. So in a world where we're very quick to jump on and complain, doing little things like that, thanking people like that, you don't realise what difference it can make to someone. And it's nice to see that the extra work, I know I get a lot of grief for going over and above with the warranty stuff on these older cars. It was a 2010 with 100,000 miles on it. But extending out that warranty on that part for her, I made her have the confidence that I was willing to stand by my car. And she's obviously appreciative of that. And looks like, you know, I could be getting more business out of it. So yeah, just a little, you know, just a little thing, you know, if you're dealing with businesses, I try and do it myself as much as I can. And they do give you good service. Do go out of your way to let them know, because you know there's plenty of bad people out there that, you know, plenty of bad service businesses out there that don't give a monkeys. So when you get someone that does, a little email, a little message like this can make a lot of difference. Have a little look at what happened with my bids. My random bidding the other day. Volkswagen Transporter, the Croydmobile. That sold for £10,800 on a 58 plate with, what did they have on it? 80,000 miles on it. I just don't see. I mean, I know they can sell for good money. I just don't see it myself at all. The Citroen Picasso VTR on a 2009, 1,250 quid. What's that? £2.5 grand car, something like that. It might be. That might be all right. 1.6 Cooper, I bid 500 quid on. That had no mechanical report, did it? I don't think. On a 2007, went for 1,100 quid. Risky if you need a clutch. Toyota Aygo, 1 litre. I bid £700 anyway for 825, so not a million miles away, but it is a 58 plate. Last 58, 57, 58 plate. I think I sold for about £1,500, £1,600. So don't see the profit in it. This was a random, wasn't it? Chevrolet Tacoma. 1.6 SX. Never seen one before in my life. It was 2008, but it had a long MOT on it, I think, didn't it? I bid £100. Only went for 175. If I'd been live, I probably would have carried on bidding on that just for the fun of it. To be fair, so yeah, cheap car for someone. Alfa Romeo Mito 1.4 TB 155 Veloce. Nice cars. They are quick cars. Well, not that quick, but they're fun. 2009, it went for £1,125. Again, I don't think it had a mechanical report. If there were problems with that engine, then you'd be in big trouble. So £1,125, someone either got a decent deal or they got a whole load of trouble on their hands. What's it worth? It's probably a £3 grand car, possibly. So someone's probably got some good money in it. Bid on a Punto, didn't I? That didn't have any mechanical report, if I remember. I bid £200 and went for £675. Again, if it needs a gearbox, which those do sometimes, you could be in it a few quid. Alfa Romeo 1.4 Lusso. They're pretty tough little engines. Don't normally go wrong. 59 plate. I bid £500, went for £975. But you add fees on top, delivery. You're in £1,300-1,400 on a car that's probably they don't go that well. £2 grand maybe. That little Matiz with stupidly low miles, I bid £100 and went for £800. I've seen that go through a couple of times now, though. I don't know if it's got a higher reserve on it, but again, I still don't think even low miles that's more than a £2 grand car, personally. Another Picasso, I bid £1,900. That went for £2.5. That Hyundai Matrix 1.6 Comfort. Again, I hadn't seen one of those before. That was an automatic, if I remember rightly. I bid £500 and went for £2,000. It's a 2010, had a long MOT, I think, and it's an auto. But again, add the fees on, add the delivery on. You're at 2-3. Who's out there looking for a Matrix automatic? Well, I don't know. Maybe you might make 500 quid out of it. Suzuki Jimny. I had no idea the value of Suzuki Jimnys. Now I've seen a few go through. I actually think £2.5 grand was probably an all right deal for a 56 plate. As mad as that sounds, the money they're going for seems to be really strong. I bid £1,100. Add the damage on it as well. Again, you're in it for probably best part of 2.8 by the time all's said and done, and you've got to repair it and put it out there. Don't know what they're really worth. Mini Cooper, I had another cheeky bid on the Cooper. 2004 car, £300 I bid. Went for £550. Yeah. Again, by the time you've paid fees, delivery, and if there is a mechanical problem in it, you've got some problem. This one was interesting. I don't know if I pointed out a bid on this one before. I added a few more cheeky bids in. A 2008 1.6 GTI Peugeot wouldn't run, had mechanical problems. It went for £2.5 grand. I only bid £300. I was a bit cheeky. I figured you might have to put an engine in it. I don't really know. Again, I don't know. But if by the time you paid fees, and if you do have to put something in it, have some head work done or something like that, you're going to be into it for £3 grand. I don't know what a 2013 GTI is worth, but that seems a bit too much for me. Mercedes-Benz, well, I'd only bid 200 quid on. Oh, that had mega miles. That was like 200,000 miles. I just had a bit of fun and put £200 on that. It went for £1,100 on a 2010. I mean, if you're buying it for yourself just to bomb around in, okay, but there's no way you're really making money on that retail-wise, I don't think. A Subaru Legacy, no idea why I bid on that, £1,700. Panda, bid £100 on. They're just not worth an awful lot of money. Again, by the time you pay fees, you're £500 into a 2008 Panda, you might get £900 for it, and that means you've got to not have to put any money in it at all. Ford Focus, bid 500 quid on a 2005. They go all right, don't they? 2.2 Honda Civic had some miles on it. I bid £400, went for 425. That's a cheap car, actually, I think. I know it's a 2006, but they go on for a long while. Did I say I bid on the Jaguar? I can't remember if I did. There was a Jaguar 5-litre supercharged in there. I bid 12 grand on it. It went for 21, which seemed really steep for 2011 for me. I imagine you could get your money out of it if you were a dealership that looked right with the glass front and sat on it for a number of months, but I just put 12 in just for a bit of fun, to be honest. 2.2 Honda CRV go well around our way. Honda CRVs do. They're pretty bulletproof. That had mega miles as well. Went for 1,050. Bid on another Mini Cooper, £600. That went for 1,250. C4 VTR bid £600. Went for 950 on a 2008. Again, I don't think. I mean, what are they worth? £2 grand. By the time you paid fees and delivery, guys, you're not up to anything. An 08 Corsa, I bid £500 and went for 650. Dodge Nitro, I just had a bit of fun bidding that. I have no idea what they're worth. I just put 1,500 quid in because my wife likes them. iGo 2012. This was a serious one. I wanted to get this iGo. I bid £1,100. It went for 12.25. So with fees and delivery, you're in £1,700. At 2012, you might get 2.5, 4 to 3. So there's still a bit of money to be in that, as long as you don't have to do much to work to it. A Chevy Spark, they always sell well for me. I bid £200. It had some mechanical problem. I think it might need an engine. And it was cheaper to get an engine for an iGo than it is for a Chevy Spark. So I just put £200 against it. A Mocha, I've been meaning to try a Mocha. I had a decent bid on that Mocha. 4.3, went for 5. I saw lots of stuff going well over book. Yeah, I didn't win that, but I keep meaning to try a Mocha at some point. This was a VTR. Oh, yeah. I only bid £500 on this VTR. Had a smoking engine. And we've been there before, haven't we, guys? If you follow my channel, we've been there before with smoking engines on VTRs. What I hadn't realised is how blooming cheap it is to get engines for these. I mean, they're super cheap, like 400 quid delivered, I think. And then there's about 4 bolts to change over to change one out. So perhaps I should have gone in stronger. But a 2013 VTR, it had lowish mileage, is probably a £3 grand car. Someone paid £1,250 for it, so let's say £1,500 with fees, delivery, they're into it £1,600. Put an engine in it, they're £2 grand. You'd want to make 1,000. Well, yeah, that's probably why I didn't do it, because you'd only make 1,000. All the hassle of changing over an engine. Then you've got to take your warranty out of it, advertising costs. So you might make 800 quid out of swapping the engine over. No, it didn't stack up. 1.2 Lounge, obviously always have a bid on a Fiat 500 when I see him. I bid 16 and went for 17, so perhaps we could have gone a bit stronger than that. But I wasn't watching it live, so I couldn't do it. Purchases, did I win anything? I did. I won a Corsa 1.2 Club on a 2007 plate for £200, which I don't think is a bad buy. Book says it's a 1495 car retail. I think the mileage was 70,000 with a long MOT on it. I don't know what the bodywork's really like, and I have to wait till it turns up, so I'll do that with you. It's coming tomorrow, so I'll have a walk around video with you on that tomorrow. I'll add this to this video. £200, £130 in fees. So again, the auction house does well. £330. It's costing me £140 to get delivered. So £470 by the time it gets here. So retail's £14.95. So potentially £1 grand in it, but then there's going to be work to do. I wouldn't expect, if I made £500 on this car and not spend more than a day on it, I'll be happy on that. And it'll be a cheap little car for someone. And we'll see if people prefer lower miles and older cars, because I wouldn't normally buy a 2007. So see if a 2007 Corsa with 70,000 miles goes quicker than a 2011 Yaris. Sorry, let's go 2009 Yaris with 100,000 miles on it. Let's see which goes first. Anyway, so that's bidding. Like I say, most stuff was going over book. There wasn't really any bargains to be had, but we'll see how much of a shed this little Corsa is. Banger bidding, I'll call it. So let's see how that turns out. Right, so the £200 Corsa's turned up, and
My old mate Adrian's delivered it for me. Great service as always. He did give me a bit of warning before I got here actually that it had bad paint. We got a bit along the bumper here, bad paint, and we've got a scuff on the rear quarter here and a scuff here, but to be honest the rest of it looks alright. I didn't expect this much paint work. I didn't look at the pictures quite closely enough, but we know I can rattle can sort that out, no problem at all. If mechanically it's sound and it's just that paint, I think I'm doing alright. But Adrian tells me there is a engine management light on it. Inside, sorry for all the background noise guys, inside it looks alright. It looks like it just needs a good clean. Oh god, the back's covered. Looks like they've had a dog. Bloody L8 dogs. So anyway, we'll get it off the trailer and then we'll have a little drive around the industrial estate and we'll see what we think of it. Right, let's have a quick spin. First things up, inspection due. That okay, we've got an engine management light. We'll plug that in and find out what that's about in a bit. It's telling me I haven't got my seatbelt on. We've got half a tank of fuel, 72,496 miles, which I think is good for this age of car. 2007. Let's get out without smashing Stu's Porsche. Right, let's have a quick look see. Engine started with no rattle, so that's all right. Obviously it was starting and brought off the trailer, so it could be that it's a little bit warmer now, but normally if they are bad they'll rattle anyway. Clutch is good, and let's get up into third gear. Yeah, okay, back into second. Gearbox seems okay. No knocks and bangs on the suspension over those speed bumps, so that's a good sign. Accelerates smoothly. It's just warning me about my seatbelt again. Let's try and get a couple more gears. So accelerate, third, fourth. It's all right. Okie dokie. All seems okay on that front. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to swing by Lee's at Barham Engines because his daughter wanted a Corsa, and let's see if we can't tap Lee up for a sale before we even get started on the car. What profit should I make out of Lee, do we think? Comment down below. I've got that paint work to do. I've got to find out what the engine management light is, so I'm going to have a day of work into it for sure. And then obviously if anything goes wrong with it, I'll have Lee on my case. So what's a fair profit to sell to a friend if you're going to do that? Do a day's work and also probably a day's work of fixing if anything goes wrong after. Here we are. Let's go and tap Lee up. Turn off. Lee, let's tap you up. Let's get some money out of your pocket. We've got our Corsa here. Right, we'll keep negotiations private. Right, so Lee's keen. We haven't talked numbers. We're going to give it a clean up. I'll let him see it finished. I don't like to build cars for people, so I'll do it. And then if he's happy with it after he's seen it, then game on. But let's find out what this engine management light is. We've got a bit of hunting going on when I left it sitting, so I'm wondering if we've got an airflow meter or a coil pack or something like that. So reading the codes, let's say we've got a lambda sensor out. Stuart informs me it's pre-cat, so that should be in the engine bay, relatively easy to get to depending on how the threads are for the lambda sensor. Get it nice and hot first. So if that is all it is, which that's telling us what it is, not the end of the world. So we'll crack on and get that done, and then before we go any further with the bodywork and check that it's worth doing the bodywork, but we'll get that done and then clear the codes and see where we are.